Check. Microphone? Check. Spaceman helmet? Check. Looking cute as all heck? Double check.
Oh, hey, Candy.
Cotton!
So, about today.
I'm so ready. We haven't had a good opportunity to just hunt together in ages.
Yeah, about that.
I've been working really hard on my hunting skills since the last time, too.
Well, I sort of have already made plans with these 3 hunters.
And I even unlocked some entirely new abilities.
Which means you and I... Wait, what new abilities? Ladies, gentlemen, and monsters of all ages, how do you feel about your little feline companion? If the answer is you don't even remember the last time that you saw your Palico, then there may be a few surprises in Iceborne you still don't know about when it comes to unpacking our Palico's new neat bag of tricks. If, however, like me, you do still spend some time hunting with your furriest partner, you may have unlocked 1 or 2 of the new gadget abilities. But as with most things in Monster Hunter, fully unlocking something requires a fair bit of a grind. So I figured I might make things a little bit easier for you all to decide which gadget to use in Iceborne. Keep in mind that I have a soft spot for flashy abilities and silly activities, so while I will talk about the effectiveness of each gadget, the ranking is based around multiple other factors as well. So without further ado, here are the Iceborne Palico gadget upgrades ranked.
Number 6, Mount and Plunder.
Oh, Plunder Blade, you just have such an interesting position in this game, and your newest ability is no exception. Mount and Plunder sees your Palico grab onto the target monster and start just straight up chopping off bits, which is neat to watch, and I love the idea that your Palico just goes berserk and tries to take matters into its own paws, and he even joins you if you naturally mount the monster, which is cute as well, but unfortunately that is more or less where the good parts of this end. The items that drop, and there are a fair amount of them, will just be a trade-in item 9 times out of 10, with the rare monster part actually dropping, occasionally. While trade-in items are totally useful to people with low amounts of Zenny, pretty much anyone who delved into the endgame of Base World, and definitely anyone who farmed Kulvtaroth at all, doesn't really have a whole lot of concerns when it comes to Zenny. And even in the world where you do need Zenny, that means that the Plunder Blade still has a limited use window for you, as at some point you will have enough Zenny, and on that day this gadget essentially just disappears and rides off into the sunset. This gadget does have some uses, and the ability does make it slightly more likely to get monster parts, but anything with a shelf life like this is questionable in my mind always, and as a whole, this puts Mount and Plunder at number 6 on my list.
Number 5, Boombug Cage.
Just a load of junk.
The explosive new ability for the Flashfly Cage Palico gadget, this little mine your Palico places on the floor explodes for a small amount of damage with a pretty decent flinch rate, and it's a nice little effect. This ability isn't the worst thing in the world by any stretch of the imagination, but it is far too infrequent to actually be worth using the entire gadget for. And while it does sort of fit with the theme of the gadget itself, it just doesn't feel like it makes that much of an impact on the fight. Visually speaking, it is just a tiny little blast, and honestly, I just don't find this ability that exciting. It is neat, and it adds a bit of damage to the gadget in question, but there is just absolutely nothing flashy about it. Though all of that said, the Flashfly Cage gadget as a whole is in a very interesting place in Iceborne, due to the way that the master rank monsters react differently to flashes than high rank monsters did. Before on tempered monsters who had a 4 flash limit, the Flashfly Cage just had a high chance of wasting one of your flash charges throughout the hunt, and the shock trap functionality just does nothing towards Elder Dragons at all. Arguably, the flash part of the gadget is much more usable in Iceborne now, as we do use this resource much more like old game flashes, just a short dazing effect to keep a monster relatively in place. So the gadget as a whole is a bit better in Iceborne than it was before, just as a result. However, that result isn't hugely due to the Boombug Cage upgrade itself, and all of this put together is why this upgrade is number 5 on my list.
Number 4, Vigor Wasp Revival.
The Vigor Wasp Cage, also known as the training wheels of Monster Hunter World. This gadget is irreplaceable for those who use it, and while it may not make your hunts faster by straight up dealing damage to a monster, the amount of time that it saves you healing allows you to hit the monster a fair chunk more. But the Iceborne upgrade to this gadget is actually extremely uniquely useful for when you are particularly struggling with a specific hunt. The Vigor Wasp Revival does more or less what it says on the tin, and once per hunt, your cat will revive you for free upon fainting, not counting towards the faint limit to the quest and not carting you back to camp, but instead reviving you on the spot with a small amount of health. A very small amount of health, like, honestly, in my experience, there's about a 30% chance you just die to whatever attack the monster is doing when you get revived, because you have no real input on the timing of it, and it's just sort of sad. However, when the gadget does work, it really works. Think about it this way. On a 2-player hunt with both Palicos using this gadget, you basically have 2 bonus feints. If your problem while fighting a monster is survivability, this almost doubles the mistakes that you're allowed to make on a hunt in that situation. While this gadget may not make the best of players in the game better, it allows those of us who are a little bit less skilled to have a bit more of a chill experience and enjoy our nice ride through Monster Hunter. However, it isn't all that flashy, and of course, all that said, it does have a limited use as it only affects hunts that you think you'll die in, and nobody really wants to plan to die. So Vigorous Revival parks itself firmly at number 4.
Number 3, Shield Spire Stooge.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Hi, I'm Al Harrington, president and CEO of Al Harrington's Wacky Waving Inflatable Arm Flailing Tube Man Emporium and Warehouse.
The newest addition to everyone's favorite Shield Palico gadget, the Shield Spire, is the Shield Spire's very own Stooge, who is not in any way influenced by any real-life advertising schemes. The Stooge acts as a massive distraction for the monster, calling any attention it possibly can, and therefore keeping the attention off of you. A lot of the issue with the functionality of the Shield Spire's taunt and base world is that it only works for pretty much one monster attack, which is an absolutely minuscule amount of time, and allows you barely any time to prepare for it as well as a number of weapons actually benefiting from countering, so, you know, wanting them to attack you, not the Palico. The Shield Spire Stooge is a stationary, long-term, secondary target with taunting properties. This pretty much just solves any issue with the idea of a taunting gadget in the series, because even a weapon that relies on counters can stand on top of the Stooge and just know that the monster is going to be attacking in that direction anyways. However, the real benefit here comes to weapons like greatswords with their massive combos, or something like a dragon piercer bow build with massive charge up times. This ability gives you a relatively good idea of where the monster is going to be 5 seconds in the future, while also managing to be absolutely silly and hilarious. And there is just something about that that requires all of our appreciation, honestly, which is why no matter the other factors, the Shield Spire Stooge lands at number 3 for me.
Number 2, Coral Sonic Gong.
Just one chance. Is that too much to ask? I mean, it's not like it'll kill you. Yo, Rocky, wake up! You gotta go fetch Milan!
The Coral Orchestra is one of 2 classically considered good Palico gadgets from World. Aside from the RNG aspect of the gadget, the buff capability is simply ridiculous, and in Iceborne this is no different, except it comes with a pretty sizable bonus on the side, a guaranteed flinch. Due to this, the Coral Sonic Gong is an absolutely ideal ability for weapons with slower combos, really allowing you to finish attacks that might normally get you hit. And with just how ridiculously distracting the gong itself is, it's very easy to know when the flinch is about to happen. The visual design aspect of this ability makes me enjoy it a ton just from the start. It also mixes beautifully with the general theme of the Coral Orchestra already, and it is very generally useful, while adding an entirely different level of utility to a gadget that was already undeniably one of the best and utility focused. Effectiveness varies based on your weapon of choice, and of course the timing your Palico chooses to take it out when he does the automatic ones. However, when it works, and due to that combined with the general design of this, I can't help but love it.
Number 1, Miao Kano.
It's no real surprise that the Molotov cocktail gadget wound up with the most visually pleasing ability by a mile, considering the base gadget's focus on explosions of various types, but the Miao Kano really takes the cake in that regard, and a number of other regards actually. The Molotov cocktail gadget is the only purely damage-focused gadget in the game, and his new ability continues that in a blaze of glory that I can only wish would never end. A continuous attack where your Palico spits out fire above it for a long time, all the while dealing respectable ticks of damage and ending with an even bigger punch to cap it off. This ability has the opportunity to either be the most useful or the biggest waste. If your cat decided to just auto-use it during regular combat, he can wind up just sitting 20 feet away from the monster, not doing a whole lot for a very long time. However, when you get lucky, or just through proper use of the manual command to use Miao Kano, you can get some serious damage on a downed monster, and it can happen a number of times throughout the fight. So the visuals are absolutely spectacular. It fits beautifully with the theme of the weapon, both mechanically speaking and visually, and then the actual effect of the ability is particularly potent and genuinely helpful in a hunt. All of this coming together to show you all my #1 new Palico gadget ability, the Miao Kano. Alright everyone, I have been Cotton Dinosaur, and these have been the new Palico gadget abilities in Iceborne ranked. Do you agree with my rankings? What abilities would you have given these gadgets instead of the ones that they got? Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet. This is the brand new outro to tell you all the things that you do that we love, so let's start with something simple and say, oh, we love your eyes. When they're watching us play video games, when we make a bunch of jokes that are kinda lame, or when they gaze upon our failures as we try to kill the monsters or report important news about the Kingdom Animalia. Rage, Content, and Hollow are all here, talking about the things you want to hear. So if you want to be the first to hear, like and subscribe and the bell and we'll cheer. Some of you are patrons, even though we are all the noobs and you're the pros. There's nothing we can do to thank you. No, really, there's nothing we could possibly do. Goodbye.